Right now?
Yeah. Hi.
And everybody's tuned out already.
Hey, it's Neal. I don't really have dates per se, guys, because I'm doing some other projects. I'm going to be in San Francisco, September 12th, 13th, 14th. So
Where
you
in
have a
San
lot of
Francisco?
time at the Punchline. You guys have a lot of time to plan.
Boom. Hey,
Save your money, bro.
It's Moshe Kasher. I've got some dates coming up. And then August 15th through 17th in Bloomington, Indiana, I'll be at the Comedy Attic, one of my favorite clubs in this here country. And I got a whole bunch of other stuff happening. So go to moshekasher.com for all of that information.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Hi, everybody. It's the Champs. You're back fucking with us, and that was hopefully an amazing musical interlude that was put on. What do you
They're
think,
always
Neal?
good.
They're always pretty good. I got an email said whoever's doing the music ever since Doug left, really killing it.
Yeah, no, I saw
Gotta
that.
say, that's Neal Brennan. I would do it, but I haven't been allowed in the control room. Brennan
Look,
doesn't allow
I
me
thought
in.
today about, I would love Moshe to see what a pain in the ass it is.
Oh, I know it's a pain in
It's
the ass.
straight up 5.5 hours.
I don't not think it's a pain in the ass, but the difference between you and me is it wouldn't be less of a pain in the ass for me because I would do less.
Oh, right, because you don't care about quality.
I don't care about editing per
Right.
se.
You don't care
A
about quality.
A podcast.
I believe that if you're going to put out an entertainment product, you should make it as good as possible. Guys, coming to the stage.
Coming to the pod right now.
Our guest today is a guy whose number I have in my phone.
Yep.
Can't remember why.
Don't
No,
know.
we've met.
Well, this is a fellow that I started with.
You started
I mean,
with him?
he
Sure.
didn't start with me. I started with him. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Kevin was one of
Sort
the
of.
elder statesmen of stand-up comedy in San Francisco when I first started coming around. A killer. And now has gone on to amazing things. He did an amazing short film, Thugs the Musical, starring himself and David Allen Greer, a frequent champion. And he's the head writer over at Totally Biased on the FX network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kevin Avery.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah.
Hello there. How are you?
Yeah, it's nice to have you on.
How
man.
are you?
I'm good. Yeah,
Great.
I don't. That is weird that you have my number in your phone.
Now that I look at your face, I feel like we actually have met
Yeah.
and talked.
It's been a good
Do you remember where?
San Francisco.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah. It was probably one of those Chappelle weeks or something like that.
Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Easily. In fact, his birthday party.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's we had a birthday party. I don't want to talk about it.
What do you mean, man?
I don't wanna
We're
talk-
30 seconds
We
in,
had
it's
a
time to
birthday
talk
party
Chappelle.
for his 30th birthday, where we built like a big tent in Golden Gate Park. It was actually a pretty
it was,
sweet.
And it was the Presidio, I think.
It's a Presidio.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the ass. And I have some good news. He didn't appreciate it.
No.
Oh, boy.
He didn't know. He didn't.
Come on.
I literally can't even get into how crazy it got.
Well, look, here, speaking of things like putting your friends on the map or not putting your friends on the map, this, to me, I mean, tell me if you find this offensive. I hope you don't. But, like, Kevin was always, you have always been. I'm going to talk about you like you're not here.
Go ahead.
Kevin, the fella sitting to my right.
I'm going to back away slowly as if I'm not here.
Yeah, it was always like the killer in San Francisco. Like the dude that, like, you put him on any stage, anytime, fucking explosion.
I'm offended so far.
Yeah, so far.
So far.
But he's a hack. He's a garbage
Oh,
comedian.
God,
No.
there
That's
we
the part
go.
that I don't mean offensively.
Kevin, no,
No.
don't listen. Earmuffs.
No, but also was a dude that we were always like, Kevin should be famous, whatever. And then Kamau got that show, and now he's the head writer of the show, and everybody's very excited. I just feel like it's about time. that
You were a
Thank
writer on the show,
I
correct?
was a writer on the show.
I think I may have played a part in making you the head writer.
Come on.
It sounds like a big ego thing,
All right.
and I will explain to you what happened.
I'd like to see you connect these dots.
Me and Kamau, I met him at a comedy festival somewhere. I think Toronto last year.
Okay.
And he was talking about the show, and I said he was saying something. He was saying something about the writers, and I go, who's your head writer? And he said someone, and I go, who's the last person you talked to before you go on? And he said Kevin Avery, and I go, make him the head writer.
Whoa, he did do it.
Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious. Yeah. Not knowing anything other than I knew your name from my phone. Like, I wasn't like fire. So I was just like the last person. If you're a performer, the last person you talk to, it's all about trust. It's like about you guys having a shared sensibility.
Yeah.
That it's been forged over fucking shitty nights in San Francisco and all. And it's like you know what his intention is, and you know you have his best interest at heart, and you have the most trust just from putting in time and probably shared sensibility. So my thing is like, if you're the one who's going on this joke and giving him notes, then you should be the head writer.
That's a fascinating. Well, that's cool.
I don't. Having said that, I have no idea if that had anything to do with it. But that's,
What you mean, that incredibly specific thing that probably is like.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't like Kamau was like.
And I did. We did a seance together, and I did write down the name Kevin Avery on the Ouija board. I don't know if that was connected.
But I don't know if that has anything. I don't know if Kamau was like, you know what, that old man was right. Like, we fucking know, maybe just be like, well, it's something to think about.
Well, good looking out, both of you.
Yeah,
I
sure.
appreciate that. That's
Getting...
very interesting. Just the job outside. That's an interesting piece of advice, though.
That's who the head writer. It's like
fascinating. I've never.
That's who. The person who is the last. It's like the guy. If you're a stunt guy, it's the guy who checks the restraints. You know what I mean? It's if you're the head writer for a talk show host, your job is you're like the stunt guy who has to make sure that your stunt guy's not going to die.
Yeah.
You're like the corraller. And I don't know if I'm alone in that, but yeah.
But the other thing about you that's interesting is you were always you never seemed really pissed off. Were you? Like when you had these years of being very, very funny, killing, and not being recognized in the way that I imagine you thought and I thought you should have, and you always seemed pretty positive about it. You always had that towel in your back pocket.
I had the towel.
I mean, that was a real
Did you have a towel?
Oh, he's a big towel dude.
You had so you were truly a black comedian.
Yeah,
he's not though. His act is very is not super urban, but the towel remained. The towel was there.
Yeah, great.
Very unurban.
Last night,
in fact, it has haunted me.
Oh, your lack of urbanness?
Yeah. Last night I saw.
You're not the right kind of black.
I don't want to derail you from this because this is what I want to talk about. But last night I saw a man. I was at the BET Experience. Sure. And I went, of course, and I went to the R. Kelly New Edition Jackson's concert, and I could get into a lot of details. But I knew I was at the BET Experience when I came upon a couple. The woman was wearing probably a $2,000 dress and beautiful high heels. The man was wearing probably a $1,000 sports coat and a towel on top of his head with a baseball cap over the towel. Just like, what the fuck is happening?
Great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, go black people, go.
Go black people. You can do it. You know what I noticed, ironically, how a lot of black celebrities were dressed last night? The new style for male black celebrities, plantation owner. A lot of guys dressed in like seersucker suit.
Oh,
yeah, it was funny. Like Cedric was straight up dressed like a plantation owner. Like a lot of guys like Southern aristocracy. Like that's the new look.
I feel like that's the natural progression from pimp style. I mean, it just
The
sort of makes sense
pimp.
because
Bigger
because even that pimp wear is sort of is 40s.
They're
and
running
50s.
out
It's
of
sort of,
maybe they're running out of garish looks.
Yeah.
And they're having to go like, let's get out of the 1960s. Let's go to the 1860s and see what's back there.
Pretty soon
And
they'll
soon
be
they'll
like
be wearing
Victorian.
they'll be like plumed
powdered wig
dresses. Yeah, like just like Prince, just regular black dudes dressed like Prince on the street.
I'm surprised the Jamie Foxx Django look hasn't
just
really
straight
taken
up?
off.
Absolutely, that's what we were both. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you mean when he
That's
got
next.
gussied up?
Yeah.
Not like with a sackcloth, like a runaway slave look.
Yeah, no, that's probably never coming back in style.
I don't think that's going to come back. Things would have to be going really good for black people.
Better than a black president.
No,
It'd
you'd
to
have
be
to have.
beyond
You
that.
literally have to have 43 black presidents in a row.
Yeah,
You know what? And then black people could be like, "Oh, finally!" And we could just put the rags back on again.
Yeah.
And that's all we want to do.
Because that shit. Say what you want. Shit was comfortable.
It was cozy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mad cozy. Well, speaking of black people, what's in the news right now is that woman at the Trayvon trial. You guys follow her?
There's a lot of
a little
black
bit.
news this week. It's a shame you guys are down.
I know.
And she. Oh yeah, that's
It's a
true.
shame Totally Biased is down.
Oh, and
It's not on the air.
There's
right
so
now.
much black
we
news.
always do this. We go off the air a week too early, and then just the shit. Everything from Trayvon to the Texas abortion thing that's happening today,
And
then
Paula
Doma and all
Dean.
that shit. Paula Dean.
Oh,
we talked
Paula
about her
Dean.
a couple weeks ago.
Sweet Paula Dean. You know, it's,
goddamn.
at first I was starting to think Paula Dean, like, I was like, all right. You
Yeah.
know what? Of course she said the N-word. Like,
Yeah.
of course she did. But then I started, like, we were talking about that the other day, right? Like, she's becoming like Paula Hitler, you know, like, it's like becoming. But then somebody did write a thing that said, like, specifically what she's being accused of saying, and
Yeah, it's horrible.
it's beyond just being like her dropping an N-bomb as a Southern woman.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know? The person who is filing the suit is white.
Yes.
That's fucking crazy. That's
That
one of
is
those like
nuts.
unforeseen. Like what?
But she's filing it on behalf of, like, you know, the way that
Other
black
white
people
people.
in the
Kidding.
in the thing in the business were being treated, or something crazy like
Is
that.
this a case though of being too liberal?
Everything is a
that
case.
was
of
weird.
I
That
agree.
thing.
Well, no, that's that funny thing of like I always say that it's that, and I'm talking about it here. It's the thing that black people can't defend themselves. Like black
right.
people,
Yeah.
let us handle this for you. It's the blaxploitation.
It's,
You know, blaxploitation movies were put out of business by white liberals.
Really?
Yeah, it was white liberals who were like, "This isn't right."
And black people were like, wait,
Yeah,
our
black
movies!
people are still
Yeah.
talking about fucking Richard Roundtree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is it? I don't think it is a matter. I think it's
This
like
is
you
why
can't say
white
that.
people are why I've missed all the blaxploitation flicks.
Yeah, that's absolutely
White
true.
people are why I'm getting shit from black people.
No, but that's 100% true. I mean, the bloggers who are out there decrying, you know, white privilege and institutionalized racism and how terrible white people are 9 times out of 10 these are white people telling other white people that they're not being white right, and it's like,
You know why? Because, like I would say, black people have better shit to worry about than
Yeah.
just like
they
one
gotta
white
buy mad towels to put on their heads.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the beach.
but also
Gotta
just
get the
one
towels.
white
Gotta
lady.
get the towels.
One white lady saying the N-word is it's literally like a drop in the bucket. It's not even.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
I don't get so.
Yeah.
It doesn't change your day to day.
No, I just know. All right, check, and I can move. I know I don't need
Right.
to deal with her.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
don't
also
even think
not
about
a
her.
black person in America that's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paula Dean did what?
Yeah.
Like-
My mom, maybe. She
I
loves
actually
Paula
hate.
Dean.
Does
You know
she?
why I don't like it? Would she be surprised?
She loves Paula Dean,
No,
he
but
said.
she wasn't surprised. But like when I came, I visited my parents last weekend, and they were. I mentioned Paula Dean, and she kind of was like, "Yeah, well, I think she's just stupid. I don't know." But you could tell.
You could feel her not wanting.
The last time I had seen my mom, all she would talk about was how Chris Rock's mom was on Paula Dean, and that I need to,
She was a guest on Paula Dean.
Chris Rock's mom was a guest on the Paula Dean
that's
Paula Dean
crazy.
show.
You know, their mom is suing Cracker Barrel for discrimination. The Rock's
Rock's
mom,
mom?
Chris and Tony's mom, is suing Cracker. Google it. I saw when it happened.
They've been repeatedly sued, Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
But what do you expect? It's a barrel for crackers. It's not for them.
No.
It's for us.
Not at all.
Take the
Why
hint,
are
you know
they-
what I mean?
Yeah, Cracker Barrel.
The writing was true. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
The writing wasn't even on the wall. It was on the sign.
Absolutely. I don't go into the restaurant called the Nigga Bucket.
You know.
No!
what I mean?
Thank you.
Neither
What
does- that's
the
entire fact. That's
hey?
a direct quote from Tony's act. Nigga
Is it
Bucket.
really?
Nigga Bucket is the direct.
No way.
Direct. That's like a game show of like finish this punchline. Tony talks about it and he says that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I may run the clip if he has if it's
That's
online.
that's amazing. Is it about Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, it's about his mom suing Cracker Barrel.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but Cracker is actually in the news as well, which is it's all these fucking people trying to pretend that being called Cracker matters at all.
Is a thing.
Like any white person's ever been the only time you're really upset if a black person calls you a cracker as a white person is if they call you a cracker like very close to you and they're about to hit you.
Yeah, that's
really
what I mean.
the-
It's similar.
you know?
Yeah, it is similar. I don't. There's no. I just don't. There's no analogy.
I got
for,
called cracker my whole childhood.
Did you
My
really?
whole- yeah.
I never.
Yeah.
I've never been called it. I've been called nigga maybe 4,000 times more than I've been called cracker.
What,
I've
you,
been
you've been
called-
called what?
Nigga.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
By all my, I have far more black friends that would call me nigger than
I've been called
white friends that would call me cracker.
cracker, honky, white bread, white chicken bread, white honky chicken bread, cracker, bitch. I've had it all. White boy.
Here's my
and none
thing,
of it
though,
really
Moshe.
bothered me.
No, who's calling anyone honky now?
Yeah.
I've heard honky, but I was at maybe the tail end of honky. But I have a joke actually in my act about. We wrote a line where Nene Leakes was supposed to call the little girl a honky.
Mm-hmm.
And all the executives were like in a tizzy, like, you can't say that. It's a black person
This
calling
is
a white
on,
person
your show?
on the new normal.
Yeah.
Black person calling a white person is exactly the same thing as a white person calling a black person the N-word. I was like,
Is it?
fucking no, it's not.
Is it?
A part of me wants to talk about it, and a part of me feels like it's actually beneath us.
I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a simple argument.
Yeah.
And it's so
Right, why even bother?
It's like for beginners. It's literally like New Year's Eve for people that to think about race. Like, what's the same? Like,
Right.
what is
Yeah,
it's
you're,
just like,
you're actually right, Neal.
yeah, it's like
it's such beginner, basic level race relations. Well, so you grew up. Where'd you grow up in San Francisco?
I grew up in San Jose. Lived in San Francisco for about 10 years.
And what I know about you is that you are not only a dude that wears a towel.
Sure.
You also were in an R&B boy band supergroup, correct?
you're a good-looking guy.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Shaved.
also
I did shave.
for the chance.
I was
Thank
looking a
you.
little rugged. Yeah, I was in a singing group like an R&B singing group that was sort of very New Edition-ish.
Right.
The story followed kind of the same track. Where there were 6 of us when we started, and we were very kind of like Blue Magic, very R&B kind of harmonizing. And then we
Blue
kind of
Magic
split
is
apart.
a brand name. Go ahead. Blue Magic. That's a line from American Gangster. Go ahead. It's my favorite line.
Blue
from American
Blue
Gangster.
Magic is also it's the heroin.
It's
and,
the name of the heroin.
Yeah.
And there's a big speech where it's like Blue Magic. That's a brand name.
From American
Yeah.
Gangster?
yeah.
Oh.
But it's also
I
the
may
name of
run
a.
it because it's such a good monologue.
Man, you got to run these clips.
I'm gonna run. Yo, this is why it takes 5.5 hours to edit this shit.
Yeah,
I
there you
fucking
go.
lay
He
shit
be
down.
running clips.
Quality.
Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah, that's Moshe would
That
have
nigga will run some clips.
Yeah, that cracker right there. Clip runner. He a clip
Moshe
runner.
would have just gone live with this thing.
no, without any
You
clips.
just acted it out.
Yeah, I'm taking him to the clip barrel.
Sure. But yeah, Blue Magic is also the name of an R&B group, as I just found out, and it's not just an expression. I don't know why I just did the air quotes.
What?
But,
I don't even know it was an expression.
Blue Magic is sort of it's a reference to like the kind of harmonizing, smooth R&B groups.
Interesting.
Got it.
Yeah, and so we broke up and became some of us got back together and became more of a Bell Biv DeVoe-ish type of.
What
like,
years are these?
This is the early '90s.
That's more on
Got
the
it.
New Jack Swing type of thing.
Yes, but not New Jack Swing. New Jack Swing is very specific.
What do you define it as? Like
New
rap
Jack
and
Swing-
singing at the same time?
No, New Jack Swing was just sort of an R&B type sound. It wasn't even. It really didn't have anything to do with hip hop. Like Bell Biv DeVoe and like Jodeci were that was the beginning of that sort of R&B hip hop merge, like Mary J. Blige and all
Right.
that shit. New Jack Swing was Guy, and it was this thing that sort of it didn't last very long.
Yeah.
A few groups, it was going to be the thing for a minute, and then the whole scene just fell apart.
Teddy
and
Riley.
Yeah.
And in truth, it was Pharrell. Pharrell produced
What?
All I Want to Do Is Boom 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 on You Zoom Zoom.
There you
He
go.
Ghost produced it.
Wait, by
The Teddy
Too
Riley
Deep?
song. All I Want to Do Is
Yeah.
that's In Too Deep, or maybe I'm
It's-
so
no.
from the Bay Area that I think that the
Yeah,
song
the
that
cover,
sampled
yeah.
it.
Teddy,
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
Teddy Riley's little brother or cousin or something like that. That group, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Blackstreet and all that shit. It was
Yep.
all
Blackstreet.
that
I
Pharrell
remember.
did most of that.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Holy
Yes.
shit!
Guys, I'm pretty deep.
There you
We're
go.
all
You know what
proving
I'm not going to do?
our black
I'm not going to
parts.
give you the satisfaction of rolling anything in right
Come
now.
on, roll the
No, because
clip.
that's what you would like.
Neal,
that,
roll
wouldn't
the
you? No,
clip.
no, get out of here.
roll it. Just roll it.
It's so
No.
easy what you do.
Fuck
Just roll
you.
the clip.
Fuck you. He doesn't get credit for it, but he I should say the legend is that Pharrell produced it.
That's
And,
fascinating.
and you went to a Catholic school growing up?
I grew up I went to a Catholic school. Like
Black dude at a Catholic. Stop it, Neal. Neal is doing a cartwheel right now. For the listeners, the listeners
you're
know.
You're so
I don't care. No. Hold on.
What's happening?
Can we just? It's an inside argument joke. That
All right.
you.
It's an argument that Moshe
No, you're-
hates to admit that I won, which is
I've admitted that.
right.
You're-
But you're still
no.
You still
I've
were
ne-
never.
You know, I
fully,
realized I had a realization.
You liked it when Hannibal tried to dispute
No,
it.
I had a realization about this. Here's
Go.
the thing.
Here's
Neal-
the theory. That I believe that if a black guy spends a lot of time with white people at a young age, it helps his entire life.
It definitely gives you perspective.
Yes.
I feel like I see a whole lot.
Yes.
I've been exposed to a lot more.
Demystify.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing I realized about this argument. I agreed with you pretty much the first time you said it, It was the way in which you were so thrilled to find every time when you said Catholic, every time someone gives the little white glimmer, Neal looks at me and goes, aha, again, we've won.
No, because you've accused, you're very uneasy with it.
I'm uneasy with the way you broach it.
We've
because
talked
he does
about
go,
it, how uneasy you are is like, you don't want to hear a white person talk about what's good for black people. I'm not saying what's good for black people. I'm saying what I've noticed is most successful black guys, almost 100% of the successful black guys
you're yelling
I know.
a lot today. That I've noticed.
It's fired up.
It goes to an auto level, so we all go in the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
The most of the successful black guys I know spent a lot of time with white people growing up.
But it is a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
I will. I won't say that it's hurt me, but it's definitely hindered me in some respects.
How?
Talk about that.
Well,
Tell
as
Moshe.
you get to your, you know. I mean, you know, you've heard me talk about just in dealing with black people. There's this weird thing, and I think a lot of black people. Kamau kind of went through this thing too, and I've had other friends who have done that thing where they were set apart from black people at a young age, and then to try to reintegrate it makes it a little bit weird. Like I talk on stage about being in this all-white Catholic school, and then my parents kind of like, well, we need to make sure they're exposed to like black culture and black people, so they put us in this youth group, this thing called Jack and Jill. And
that sounds like some black shit for real.
It is.
I will say the Jack and Jill youth group.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds.
Most youth groups sound like some black shit.
all youth groups are black.
There aren't that many white
Yeah.
youth groups.
There's some Jew.
Sure, but just
Jew
straight
groups?
white. It's
Youth groups.
Youth groups. Yeah.
Yeah. So going into this group, that it was at a young age, we were all just kids, and it wasn't a thing. But as I got a little bit older, and you're in high school, and shit matters, and what you're wearing matters, and what you say, and what you listen to, suddenly I was playing catch up, and I was a nerd for the first time, which was
got it. So
fucking
you're the
weird.
coolest guy at the white school.
Yeah.
And then you're not even in the running.
Yeah.
When you go back to black people, that is fucking really interesting.
On stage, I call it the Superman effect, where like in the I remember going to and I wasn't even fucking aware of what was happening. Like my first week at St. Francis High School, I didn't realize I was the black guy. I started playing football. The coaches were all looking at me like, sweet, we got another one. Like, they were excited. And they really believed that I was going to – one day I was walking off the field.
They automatically got a Nike contract when you enlisted at the school,
It's this
correct?
bad. Kevin didn't play football.
No.
Kevin's like, I've never played
don't
football.
know.
You're the
You're-
quarterback. You're fine. Come on. You're good. You're good.
Yeah,
Not the quarterback. Let's get realistic.
You're the quarterback
no,
and the
not
assistant
not
coach.
then, not
No, let's not be crazy. You were a running back. Running back, and you're a wide receiver.
But yeah, I remember the coach. We were all walking off the field, and the coach he went, "Hey Avery, go long." I'm like,
Oh,
what the
that's
fuck?
hilarious.
All right, and I started, and he threw the ball at some impossible. Like there was no way I was going to catch this, and
And he was baffled. He's like, how did he not catch that?
what the hell's going on? Yeah,
Are you serious?
I thought he was going to.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, you said
Are
that
you
line.
mixed? Wait a minute. Are one of your parents half white?
Wait up.
Why did you
had
not?
that line from your act, dude? Ladies and gentlemen, it's the St. Francis black guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Right.
God damn, I forgot about that.
That's an old joke.
Jesus. But yeah, like there were kids that thought I was cool because I was the black guy,
Right.
And I didn't get it, and I was just really this shy, awkward dude. So I would kind of blow up. I remember this one dude, Paul Griffiths, this cat. We were running during gym class, and he runs up next to me, and he's like, "Man, that French teacher we have, she's kind of crazy, right?" Yeah, she is. And I don't say shit. I didn't know what to say. I was like, and I just kept jogging, and that was it. And this dude went on to become one of the coolest, one of the most popular.
He was a white guy or black guy?
He was a white guy.
Got it.
And
You
Paul
pretty much
Griffiths is
blew
a
your
pretty
chance.
black name, though. I got to
Yeah,
admit.
for sure.
You blew your chance.
I blew
You
it.
could have been
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
I
like,
had black
You're saying
street
the
cred.
coolest guy in school came up to you and was like, "You're black. I'll connect to you." And you were
Yeah.
just like, "Look, I don't know what to do."
As a black guy, yeah,
I
you
might
get
just
to-
look like this,
Yeah.
but I'm Mr. Magoo inside.
Yeah.
Boing,
Yeah.
boing, 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 boing.
I didn't know you get black credits,
Right.
When you come in, and I just blew all that shit, and but I was still like,
Picture it like all these white kids who you get there, they're like, and then they start like realizing that you're nerdy. They're like, he's normal. Get him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I wasn't a nerd. I became the dude that could rap, and that was
Became
like
the dude. You were born the dude.
I was,
Right? Go ahead.
yeah, exactly. But then I would get around the black kids, and they were, it's like Superman going back to Krypton. They're like,
Right.
we can all
We can
do
all
that
rap.
bullshit,
And we can really do it.
Yeah, exactly,
We're black.
exactly.
yeah.
So it was this weird thing where I had that struggle. I remember going to at one point we formed this little break dance crew, my group in Jack and Jill, and every year they had this thing in the summer called Teen Conference, and different regions on the West Coast would get together of just Jack and Jill groups, and it was big fucking whatever conference is what it was, and
Just breakdance.
So the San Jose kids got into it with the Oakland kids, and
I remember that. No,
Moshe was there, right? And
these Oakland motherfuckers are hard to get along with. Believe me.
they are. They kind of are.
Yeah.
Because
they're insecure about being from Oakland and arrogant about being from Oakland at the same time.
I think you're talking about a very specific group of white kids from Oakland,
Sure.
of which I am the leader.
You're the guy.
I'm the guy of the insecure about being from Oakland, defensive, aggressive about it, white boys. I mean, that's my thing.
All right, so you're the youth groups face off.
We're at the thing, and it's San Jose. It's San Jose and Oakland, and we're a bunch of dudes standing across the room from each other trying to battle, and whatever. And every kid they got the gear on, they got the Pumas or the whatever, and I'm in slacks. I'm in like Dockers because I didn't know. My mom bought my fucking clothes.
Had you never seen a break-in video? Or
I
something?
knew, but I'm just out at fucking.
Everybody's
Mervin's
like,
or whatever with my mom, and like I don't want to be here, and
like, oh, he's doing a nerd character. Oh, wait, no, he's just dancing.
Oh,
it was
just
just
that Urkel shit.
No, he's doing it. He's a dancing nerd. That's what that is.
I was just, and I could do it. I
Where
could
did
break,
you
but I
place in
looked.
terms of your dancing ability, were you one of the best, or you were just fine?
I could pop real well.
Got it.
I was pretty good. I could rap real well back when I could freestyle my ass, and now I suck. I can't do it at all.
What happened?
You stopped doing it. Like high school into college, I could fucking go.
Because I've always thought about freestyle rap being the same mechanism in a brain as crowd work. Being real good at crowd work is about the same brain function as being real good at freestyling.
Yeah, I would agree.
But you don't do much crowd work at all.
I do a little bit more, but
you do now.
That
was never your thing, though.
It not really. No,
Kevin's a killing machine. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's a
I
straight
think
up
I have seen you, but I couldn't
obliteration
tell you one
demonstration.
joke. Not because I haven't. It's because I haven't seen you in so long.
Sir, I couldn't tell you one joke right now.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You forgot your own.
No, my whole act. I don't know. No, I mean, I'm comfortable. I have fun doing crowd work now, and I do like to, But it wasn't ever anything I relied on. It wasn't like my thing when I was
Here's a
coming
question. Let's say you grew up in a black neighborhood and got the same level of education that you got at St. Francis.
Yeah.
But it was all black people.
Yeah.
How do you think your life would have been different?
I think that's a good question.
Respect, Neal. Hey, Neal.
you very much.
That's a good question.
Thank you very much.
I think I probably would have been. I never would have been intimidated being around black people at a young age. Now that all went away. It's not even intimidated. I would have just been culturally. I would have been up on things.
Do you think you would be a comedian? My guess is no.
Yeah, I think I would be because of that at such a young age. It wasn't what was going on in my life that pushed me to comedy. It was just it was these records that my parents had, and I listened to them, and I loved it, and I just grew. I was addicted to stand-up comedy.
Which records?
Cosby.
Did I tell you I saw Bill
Wilson?
Cosby 3 weeks ago
Oh,
live?
his TV taping?
Crushing.
Yeah,
Of course.
Crushing.
amazing.
For an hour and a half.
Where was it?
Crushing. In Cerritos. Like one of those weird-ass like places you hear about on the radio in L.A.
Wow.
And it was like a taping, and he did an hour and a half. Might have been an hour and 45.
Did you find it funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like him.
Right.
I don't like him. I don't even think he's
Yeah.
particularly funny, but he was fucking funny, and he was crushing. And apparently, the second show, he did a different hour 45.
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
Yeah,
get
apparently,
lost.
they said he was going to. Whether he did or not, I don't know.
Now, you actually ended up going to a black college, right?
Yeah, I went to Tuskegee.
So
University.
Did he really?
How did that make you like? Why?
I was a terrible student my entire
You like to
academic
overcorrect,
career.
it seems
Right.
like. I'm going to fucking go to like...
I'm gonna
Yeah.
learn to
I'm
break
going to go to
dance.
all white people.
I'm gonna go to
And no, I'm going
Tuskegee.
to, what's the blackest shit? What's
Yeah.
the only university where horrible shit happened to black people?
Yeah.
I'm going there,
Let's
Mom.
go there.
Yeah.
Syphilis and all. Let's make it. Let's see what'll happen.
No, you went because of the syphilis, right?
Yeah.
You had syphilis first, and that brought you. To
I heard
Tuskegee.
great things about syphilis and the reresearch they were
You
doing.
had an extraordinary case of syphilis, and they gave you a full ride.
Like, where can I handle this or get more syphilis? No, so I was a terrible student, and my parents, it was not an option. I was going to college. My parents threatened me with either if I didn't go to college, I was going to go to the military, or my dad's from Alabama. He's from Lynette, Alabama, and he kept saying, or we're going to send you back to Alabama, not back, but to Alabama, and have you be a longshoreman. We're going to put you to work. I didn't know what the fuck a longshoreman was, but
You
I
didn't
was
even know Alabama was on the water.
yeah, it just sounded awful, the whole situation. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go to college. And
It's funny that you didn't realize you were an adult and could have not taken those two options.
18, you think 18's an adult?
No, I mean it's just funny. You don't have to do it, but yeah,
but you do. If your parents say you have to, you kind of do.
Yeah, and I was raised in a very sort of you do what the parents say, and which
Are both your parents black?
yeah, and it kind of screwed me up my entire adult life because everything for me was that's adult shit. That's particularly like in this business, everyone who is doing something has started when they were like 19 or 20 or 21, and I was when I was that age, I was like, someday I'm going to do all these things, and I didn't. In my brain, I didn't realize I could just be doing all this shit now. That's why to go back, like New Edition blew my mind, and why I was so into them when I was a kid, because I was like, these are little kids doing this shit that I would love to do. Like it was just
when I hear about guys doing stand-up when they're 14, 15, 16, I'm like, how did you even? I had a brother that was a comedian, and it didn't even occur to me that I could do it.
right. Same here.
Like at 15, like great, good for you. I mean, it
I-
helps. It
it's
fucking is a
funny.
huge advantage.
I feel like I started late, and it was 20. I think I was 21 or 22,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I got a late start. Like it's a strange thing.
Yeah, it just, I always felt like, well, I'm a kid, and when I'm an adult, I'll, and so whatever my parents said, I just kind of was a sucker and did it. And my dad went to Tuskegee, so I went down there, did the tour and the thing, and interviewed, and then he went there. So basically, that was the first college I got into, and I went, all right, don't have to worry about that shit anymore, and that's where I went.
Did you? I have two questions about Tuskegee. Did you, when you got there, feel some sense of like, cool, I'm black enough? Like, I've really committed myself to the black experience.
Mm-hmm. I felt like
There are no white people there?
there occasionally there's a vet.
The
medicine
most annoying
school.
graduate students in the world, I would venture a guess. Can you imagine the white African American studies grad student at Tuskegee?
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
get out
Telling
of here.
everyone
Yeah.
about like, well, you know what's wrong. Yeah.
There was one white girl I remember in the regular undergrad program. I remember when she showed up, and everyone was like, "What the hell?" It was like, it was like
What
an
the
owl
hell? What
fell
do
from the, and just started walking around. I don't know why I went to an owl.
An owl. All
What the
right.
fuck? What's going on with that owl?
It's like
Wait,
an
but
owl
seriously,
fell off the
what
tree
was
and
going
started
on with
walking
that
around.
owl?
I don't know.
Did you
But,
never speak to her?
I never spoke to her.
What the fuck is wrong with that woman? That's crazy.
It was a weird thing. She was cute, and
Did
she
you date black guys?
Of
she-
course
yeah.
she did.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you just got to make sure.
Yeah.
And I think there was a thing where black dudes were kind of like, well, "Who's this white chick?" But you didn't want to be
How did the black girls take her?
Sure, they were thrilled.
There were some who were. I mean, she had friends, but
Right.
most people, everyone knew who she was because she's the one white girl walking
Yeah.
around. So there were definitely people like, "Who is this white bitch walking around?" There was that thing, and you didn't want to be the black dude who, in a sea of black women, you find the one white girl
Yeah.
to date.
Right.
Like that's
That's a tough. I bet she got 0 calls from noon to midnight, and from midnight to 3:45. Yeah, like
Everyone
just like a
off the
fucking
hook.
telethon.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, why would you do that to yourself? You want to be the person every single class you ever go into, everyone goes, "Brr," every time you walk in, like, you're the center of attention. Maybe that's what it was about. Maybe she wanted attention.
Or maybe she liked the curriculum.
maybe I don't know, or maybe she was just really into black guys.
I can't. I'm genuinely curious.
That's what it.
We should have her on.
Honestly, that's that's what my instinct tells me. She was one of those girls that loves black culture, and
I'm
you know what I'm gonna
that's
do.
what I think,
and
so.
just
I wonder how her
fucking-
dad was like, huh.
Okay, well, honey, I want you to
we're
be happy.
Sure. Okay, now.
And I know you like that black dick, so you know what? Listen,
Yeah, that must have been an interesting sell. Like, it's
Yeah.
not, Dad. It's not about dicks.
No.
I like the school.
No, there are other majors besides dick.
What are the? It's like a full school? Like, what is it?
Yeah,
what, is it specialized in anything?
It's well, no, but they just had they're big. They're known for their engineering program and for their vet medicine program.
Got it.
Apparently,
Is that the one that the movie was about with Mos Def and Alan Rickman? Or that was about Johns Hopkins? It's about the guy at Johns Hopkins.
I guess.
Yeah. All right.
But you got to Tuskegee, and you do you feel?
Oh.
What's that experience?
I-
Dude that grew up in Catholic schools and felt
Yeah.
like not fitting in enough. What's that?
Well, I felt comfortable right away. It wasn't a thing. It just wasn't an issue. You didn't think about it. We're just and I'm starting from scratch. And by the time I was 18 or whatever, 17, 18, I figured it out, and hip hop and everything, like that was my thing. That was my shit. And so I just felt comfortable, with that. And
you'd made your peace.
yeah. And so and the other thing too is there were so many different types of black people, people from everywhere, and so I was the guy who was from California, was from San Jose, but I had a roommate from San Jose too, this dude named Craig, and Craig was a bona fide black surfer dude, but he talked just like this, dude. I swear to God, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not doing. This is how he talked, man. He lasted a semester and couldn't handle it. And but people would come. I remember people would show up at our dorm room like, listen to the way he talked. Like
hilarious.
girls from Alabama.
Just knock out.
Yeah.
Can you talk?
I love the way he talks.
Will you
And-
read this?
Yeah, exactly. So next to that dude, I was.
You were super. You were Dolomite.
I was from Harlem. Yeah. So.
Here's a question. All right, Catholic school with all white people.
Yeah.
Secular school with all black people. But black people are, by and large, more religious than white people.
Yeah.
How do you feel, and you've got a stereotype, how does white morality compare to black morality? Pretty broad question, I understand.
Yeah. How does it compare?
What do you even mean
I don't know.
exactly?
I'm not sure.
I mean, like there's a lot of...
You mean like unspoken social code? Is that what
I
you
don't
mean?
know what I mean.
or
exactly.
just religion.
I just mean like I get. How would you think? I guess like white people are more obvious hypocrites. I feel like my
Okay.
we
found it.
my take would be
There we go.
because I went to Catholic high school.
Let me see if I
and-
can translate for Neal. He hates his religious upbringing and thinks that the people in the Catholic Church are a bunch of hypocrites, liars, and rapists.
Okay.
Yeah,
And less so in a Black Baptist church or something
I would
like
think.
that.
Although maybe just a different type.
It is a different type.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different type of bullshit, I think. I mean, I grew up Catholic, and
Did you hear the latest thing where there was a bunch of cardinals in the Vatican they had an apartment set up for 14-year-old male prostitutes?
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go,
But
Catholic Church.
have you heard about the new Pope?
Yeah,
He seems pretty
He's like
cool.
a decent. He's decent.
He wouldn't take the fancy ass Pope apartment. They got some crazy Pope penthouse. He would refuse to do that. They threw some big crazy music festival in his honor, and he just didn't show up because he's like, "Why the fuck are you doing this?
Yeah.
This
Gangster.
is ridiculous."
Yeah.
There's poor people that are starving. He seems kind of
Yeah, it seems
cool.
fairly reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's, the best of an. He's still an asshole.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
He's still
the
a
Pope.
Yeah,
he's
he's still
he's
the
still a
Pope.
Catholic
Yeah.
Pope.
Yeah, he can't not be the Pope.
Yeah, it's not like he doesn't believe. He's not an
Yeah.
atheist. He's a
Right.
fucking Catholic Pope.
Well, a lot of atheists are big,
Are the best.
huge assholes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Come on.
I feel like I believe in God, but I don't. I don't subscribe to Catholicism at
Right.
all, and that's and growing up, it didn't seem like a thing that even Catholics gave a fuck about. Like
I agree.
When I went to church,
What, the Pope?
Just
Just
Catholicism.
Glenn,
It's
I
just
don't
like
know.
they just use it as like I went to church recently, and they're just reciting shit.
Yeah.
None of the shit they read makes any sense.
no, I never
It
never
never
understood
makes sense. And then they'll give a sermon. The sermon. These priests are generally horrible public speakers. And
Right.
they live in a world where they study a book of nonsense.
Well, the thing is about Catholics, they were never the religion that honed the sermon. That's like all Protestant shit.
Oh, I didn't
all
know
they
that.
had to do for 1,000 years was Amina Damon, Amina.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then they're
yeah,
done.
yeah. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Protestants had to be like, I'm trying to get people to relate to what's happening here. So that's why they got all good at it. And you know,
I guess, yes, since the late 50s.
the
first time.
charismatic preacher is very rarely a Catholic. There's been
Yeah.
a couple exceptions, one of whom was a noted anti-Semite in the 1930s. But anyway, like
Boom.
there was straight up.
Look, nobody's perfect.
There was a straight up in like
We
the
all have our
1930s.
quirks.
There was this Catholic radio show. It was like the biggest thing on
Father Coughlin?
Father Hitler, I think.
Father
Something like-
Coughlin.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And that dude, like,
Yeah, he was
he
great.
unraveled because he supported Hitler, and before everybody was against him.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, you're off the air. But anyway.
Yeah, like, look, this didn't work out. Look, if this Hitler thing played, if he wins, you're on top.
The worst of bad calls.
Actually, there's a great
50-50 shot.
Historically
no,
bad call.
Hitler.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a great book called The Plot Against America. Do you ever read that?
Philip Roth?
Philip Roth. It's
Yeah.
a cool book. It's about if the Nazis had won World War II, and Charles Lindbergh, who was like a crazy anti-Semite, had
Pro-Hitler,
pro-Hitler, had become the president of the United States, which he was thinking about running, and he was like the most popular person in America at that time.
Wow.
And he had allied with Hitler, and like it's a really cool.
Read
book.
anything by Philip Roth.
Okay.
If you learn, because some people are like, I like the shit they recommend on
that
here.
out. Yeah.
Read anything by Philip Roth. He's like the best, one of the best.
I feel like Catholics don't. Well, like I would go to church, and my parents made us dress up, and I was just like, ugh, this bullshit, you know. But then I'd show up, and all my friends and everybody else, they're in shorts and
Right.
and I was just
You're
like,
wearing a
they don't-
breakdancing outfit,
Right.
khakis,
Yeah.
etc.
Exactly.
You're wearing a bright green 3-piece suit with a hat. Is
I'm
that
wearing my
correct?
best battle gear,
You're wearing a powdered wig.
a powdered wig, yeah, and sometimes a top hat.
Yeah,
and
sure. You're just combining.
I had a cane.
Yeah.
But you know, so I just sort of was like, whatever, none of this. I don't know what they're saying. I don't care. This is boring. And even as like my brother subscribes to it, and he goes to church
Still?
He's into it.
yeah,
Yeah,
Why are your
it's
parents-
hard. It's just it's weird.
Where's
Yeah.
your family from? Why are they Catholic?
My grandparents were my dad was from Lynette, Alabama. His family Baptist, whatever. He converted when he married my mom. And yeah, my mom's family, they're from
The islands. Let me just say that for you. No, I always feel like black people that are Catholic are like from the islands or from Africa or something strange. Like, I'm
Close.
serious because Catholicism is it's not a black religion in America.
yeah, you're close, Fairfield, California.
Oh, that is very close.
Yeah. So
Why Catholic? That's so interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, but my grandmother was
Fairfield.
Catholic, and they were very, they lived by that shit.
Do you know about Fairfield?
No.
There was a comedy club in Fairfield called Pepper Bellies.
Oh right,
Sure.
That
Jesus.
a man was murdered at,
Sure.
and then
Wait, what?
yeah, somebody
I
got
knew
killed.
a guy was.
I knew a
beaten
man
there.
was
Oh
bludgeoned.
no, there was another comedian that was beaten almost to death. Then at a Rex Navaretti show, somebody got murdered, and then it got set on fire. I think by the owners.
I'm
not positive about that.
I agree with you there. I think that too. I mean, I don't know. I'm just
I
speculating.
actually have no idea. That's what someone else said. Please don't sue me.
It's weird that people just generally think that. Anyone I've ever talked to about it, they say the same thing.
Really?
We're not breaking any news here. Like we're not, and we don't know. We have no idea. But everyone I talk to, they're kind of like, I don't know. Wouldn't
You
be the
can just
weirdest
tell
thing
if
they-
a shady person has
Yeah.
their shit burned down, they had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you graduate college and your blackness is firmly entrenched.
Yes.
You know who you are culturally,
Sort of. I think I do.
more or less. Then where do you go?
I come back home. So my parents, they did a crazy head trip, and they I had this girlfriend. I was still trying to hold this group together, and that was slipping
I
away
forgot
from
about
me.
the group.
All that
You were
crazy
singing
shit.
the whole time
I
in
was,
college?
Basically, yeah.
What was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
closest you guys got to making it?
Not very close.
Got it.
Not very close. There was this woman who was interested in us, who was a manager, and she was, but that's everyone's a producer and everyone's a manager.
Yeah.
And
Did you guys have songs?
yeah, we have
Can you sing a verse from
not a one of them.
Were
who
you
were terrible,
produced
by
your
the way. We
song?
sucked.
You were bad?
We were great performers, and we'd perform live and done well, and then we'd also perform live and done horribly. But we were not singers. We were some guys that could sing. Like, I was never a big singer. I was like, the Ron DeVoe of the group. I could harmonize and I could rap.
Dude, this Ricky Bell last night. I can't. On the New Edition. Did I talk about it on the air yet?
Oh, did you go with Chelsea?
I went with Chelsea Peretti and Joe Mandy to New Edition, R. Kelly, and the Jacksons. R. Kelly, transcendent, like watching a god take human form. Mm-hmm. One of the most ecstatic experiences I've ever had at a concert. The New Edition comes on, and you're just like, oh, my God. Like, am I supposed to be able to sing better than the people I'm watching at a concert? It was so rough, dude. It was so... Ricky Bell sounded like your old drunk uncle. Like,
that's, again, I don't... That's the... You saw this Kings of the Mic tour?
No.
It's LL Cool J, Ice Cube, Public Enemy, De
and a
La
Brontosaurus
Soul.
Rex.
De La Soul. I mean, basically, and De La Soul. Now, there's... Talking about those groups, there's probably 35 songs on my iPod.
Right.
And I'm not going.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I
No, I know
just
what you
can't
mean.
bring myself to do it. It's like, I don't want to admit that I'm old and that this is like a fucking doo-wop tour.
100%.
Yeah.
When you watch a band like New Edition crumble before you go, I am an old person. I'm a person who is the people that you're just watching the ravages of
You're
time.
watching. Yeah, you're watching.
form.
Yeah.
Well, I used to talk about how great they were to, like, my little cousins.
Right.
And they were like, what's wrong with these guys? And they came up with I don't even know who, but and I'm like, no, these guys, these motherfuckers could dance, and they could do. And then I watched them recently, and I was like, oh, I've really become my parents. Like, I realized the shit that they're doing, I'm like, it looks very basic and very simple.
That's
And I was
funny.
like, oh, no.
You know who was good? Johnny Gill still could sing. Ralph Tresvant still could sing. Everybody else sounded like they had literally eaten like one of those big bags of rock salt that you put on the driveway.
Oh, God, that's so Well, I see them fairly regularly in concert. Like,
Oh,
I'm
really?
a huge New Edition fan, and I've seen them when it's kind of like, ooh, guys, and then I've seen them just.
Oh, you've seen them recently?
Yeah. I mean, they're usually great, and but I've also seen them with Bobby.
They were
a
with
couple times
Bobby.
recently, and
Bobby was in there?
Yeah, he was there.
and
He
it is
looks
weird.
so fucking drunk.
He probably
He's just so bloated. It's crazy.
Yeah, the weirdest thing I've ever seen with them. So they were performing.
He truly had, last night on the BET Awards, what's known in the Coke business as Bobby Brown jaw. With the Pusha T lyric, where it's fucking like he's like like he wasn't moving his jaw.
What were you saying?
so
The craziest thing you've seen?
Well, so he's with the group now, regular. It's 6 of them now.
Right.
They're all back, but before that, they were doing this sort of, it was like a 25-year anniversary tour, and they would bring him back for a little reunion. He'd come out in the middle, do a couple of songs, and then leave, and they would, and so I saw him here in L.A., and I think this was even before I moved out here, but he comes out, he does his songs, Mr. Telephone Man and something else, whatever, Popcorn Lover. And then they're like, Bobby Brown, everybody, yeah, woo, wasn't that a treat? And he's waving, and he starts to leave the stage, but he does that thing where he kind of slows down, like, yeah, bye, everybody, unless you want me to stay. Like, he's got that look, like he's kind of lingering, like, or should I hang out?
I mean, y'all got time for one more?
Yeah. The rest of the group is on with their business.
They're
into the next
singing.
yeah, they're into the next fucking song,
Hilarious.
and Bobby's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So he steps off stage and he kind of lingers and waits, and I'm like, "Is Bobby Brown waiting for them to bring him back on? Like, hoping they'll bring
He's
him back?"
still sort of on stage.
He's still sort of on stage. Like, I can clearly see him. It's to the point where I'm now just watching Bobby Brown, and then he leaves. And I was like, okay, I guess that's over. Shows up at the other side of the stage. This has been going on now for like a good 20 minutes. He's now on the other side of the stage.
Maybe they'll let me in over
If
here.
I
I
start
mean, if
back at the start,
if I
maybe.
go all the way around,
Yeah,
perhaps
they
they'll
see
notice
my-
me on the
yeah.
other
Mark.
side.
So he's just waiting on I was like, he's appeared. He's really trying to do this. So they're singing. They're like doing a ballad now, and so the guys are just sitting on a stool, and Ralph's out there doing his thing, and Mike gets up, walks off stage, goes to talk to Bobby, and they're having
He's
a
like,
good
Bobby,
3-minute conversation.
Bobby, get
And you're
out here.
you're watching them.
I'm watching this now. I'm
How
no longer.
How can you see it? Just the angle?
It's just where I'm sitting. I was pretty far back, and you could just see everything. And they're kind of very expressive. The arms like okay, well, I'll see what whatever.
Yeah.
And Mike walks back on stage. He sits down on a stool, kind of leans over to Ricky. They whisper something, and Ricky kind of doesn't. I don't know, man. So we go, all right, whatever, And Ricky walks to Johnny Gill, who replaced Bobby Brown, if you know the story,
Sure.
back in the day. And he kind of whispers something, and Johnny literally does like kind of the shrug and the whatever, man. I guess so. Like that's
on
and
the
mic. He doesn't say it on the mic.
Okay.
You could just you're
see it
seeing
all.
this kind of happening, play out, and it's been going on for 30 minutes. And
But also, it's like Johnny Gill is definitely.
What kind of venue was this?
it was at what's the big venue out
Staples
here?
Center?
The Forum?
I think it was the Staples Center.
Yeah, hilarious.
And so and then a few songs later, I'd seen them in concert before, and they would close on Poison or something like that.
Right.
They closed on My Prerogative. They brought Bobby. All right, everybody, Bobby Brown again, and they brought him out, and they closed on My Prerogative.
And the irony is that really was his prerogative.
It was.
He truly
It was.
did want that.
It was. So
I have a
sad.
question.
Sure.
Or no, I have a statement.
Okay.
I don't
No,
like
I-
R&B.
Oh, you
I
don't?
don't like R&B music.
That's all right. That's
I
all-
just don't like it. I don't want to. I
Oh.
don't need to hear about how dudes are fucking.
There you go.
I just don't need to hear about it. It's like, that's for you, man.
What about women that sing R&B?
Those are like ballads to me, and those I don't like those either. I like Eric. I like soul music, but I like Erykah Badu. And I like
you mean modern R&B? You don't like?
I like, but even like Otis Redding isn't R&B; it's soul music to me.
Well, there is like
Well,
R&B that sounds more like whatever, but you're saying Shy and
Ah,
Silk and
yeah, like literally, like,
Jodeci
ugh.
and Boyz II Men and all
Yeah,
that.
That's what well, soul music kind of became R&B, and it was still sort of the same, but then the music itself turned into this, and it really got ushered in with the Jodeci's of the world, where it was all about Jodeci realized these girls want to fuck us, so let's just talk
Right.
about fucking them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then everyone went and did that.
What about R. Kelly?
he is such a hilarious performer.
Right.
That I find I'm transfixed.
Right. That's the
And
thing.
also knowing what I know, the little stories I've heard about him personally, I'm extra transfixed by him.
That's the thing about R. Kelly is he's simultaneously like a virtuoso musician and an
Imbecile.
an imbecile
Yeah.
and an ignorant like the lyrics are like straight ignorant and like a weird performance artist. Like you can't tell
Yeah, I
on
totally
what level
agree.
he's operating.
Absolutely. He did a dramatic sort of reenactment of a medley of his songs at the BET Awards, and it was like 30 men in one aisle and 30 women in another aisle, and he's doing snippets from songs, and they're like sort of shouting it. And I also, when someone's got that big a group of people on lock the way R. Kelly has black people on lock, I just go like, okay, let me just watch and see what's going on. Like, let me just, it's like Foxworthy or Larry the Cable Guy where I'm like, you fucking people love you for
got
whatever
something.
reason. Does not much for me.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I do appreciate what you're doing.
It is fascinating, but I can tell you this. I went to an R. Kelly concert years when I was in Tuskegee,
Yes.
and I remember people were walking out in droves after I don't know how long he'd been.
He
I
didn't
don't
have
remember
it
how
yet,
long
you
he'd been
think?
on stage. He had just become R. Kelly and had dumped the Public Announcement. If you remember when he first came out, he was
Very
R.
vaguely.
Kelly in Public Announcement.
Yes.
New Jack Swing.
Right.
He was part of the New Jack Swing thing.
Yes.
And so he was kind of doing his thing, but he was popular enough so that, hey, it's R. Kelly, everybody. But he became annoying on stage. And he was doing this one song that went on for a good 15, 20 minutes, and people were like, all right, fuck this. And I remember people walking. I remember one of his background singers being like, hey, man, they're walking out. Hey, Kelly, they're walking out.
Hilarious.
And I'd never seen anyone acknowledge that on stage.
But I could see that. I could see that before, based on the way he performs now, before he figured out his full chops.
Yeah.
Trying some of that bullshit and people being like, if you don't do that with full gravitas, because I swear to God, like I said to you earlier, he just stopped singing for like a minute straight last night.
Yeah.
He was just mad dog, like staring out at the crowd, like, what crowd of 25,000, and people were in a frenzy.
I dare
but if
you to leave.
Tried that.
There's a part in that Black in the Jay-Z movie, The Fade to Black. There's he's in it because they did like a song together, and they hold 15, 20 seconds of just him and Jay-Z standing at the front of the stage,
right?
And people are frenzy. And I remember saying to Chappelle, going like, "Why are they?" And he's like, "It's just black star power, man."
Yeah. Michael Jackson did that.
I feel like that could work with any rock, like a rock and roll star. I feel like it was such a powerful move to just be like, I'm taking all the performance away, and you just behold me. Like, if, I don't know who, Axl Rose in his heyday or something had done that. Just stood. I feel like that would work. That's
but it takes
Crystalia.
a Crystalia.
in the Michael Jackson Bucharest concert. He shoots up before he's done a damn thing. Shoots up out of the ground, already the dopest thing ever.
Yeah.
Lands and then stands there, and I think he stood there for maybe 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you come on. We're gonna go out the back. Yeah. Cool. And that's why I have to edit.
Right.
Yep.
That's a good place for a commercial break.
Too bad we don't have any commercials.
We do.
Yeah, but we could do it at the beginning.
We can also do them at a good place for a commercial break.
What do you got?
I don't know.
I know.
Edit this all out.
All right.
So, Kev. So then you were stand up for a long time. Like what? You never did answer me.
Oh,
did
what
you ever
was
get frustrated? Did you ever get pissed off?
I was very pissed off. I was angry a lot. Yeah, extremely angry. I felt I'd screwed up.
How?
But here's the thing. I knew that it was. I blamed myself a lot. Like as a comic, I was able to look at things and go, I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't do this.
You screwed up by not leaving L.A., by not leaving San Francisco.
That too.
Right.
But I think, Kamau came along and really, he and I used to work together and write together a lot,
right.
and we were very close, and. Yeah, people knew that I could kill, and there was that thing at Cobb's Comedy Club where Tom Sawyer, the owner of the club, he would put you on. He'd book these showcases, and basically the top, towards as the show went on, the top, and so you knew the guys at the end were the top guys, and it would be like
or up and comers that hadn't yet gotten to that point.
Well, like the up and comers were earlier. The up and comers they just throw at the end. But there would be like towards the end it would be so and so, and then me, and then like Kamau,
right? Me,
so and so, headliner, or whatever.
Yeah, who else?
I don't fuck. Who were the like Robert Hawkins or something, or some headliner who was in town for the week, kind of closing it out, but. Just the top tier guys, and there was a point where it was always Kamau was on, and then I was on, and then at some point it switched because Kamau kind of figured out his writing and really hit his stride and became this prolific writer and was trying shit and and then he got Premium Blend and that helped too, and I saw that switch where I was still I was doing a lot of the same shit I'd been doing. I wasn't writing as much as I should.
Right.
It's the problem with. I could kill, but it wasn't. I wasn't this brilliant comedian, and I still had a lot to learn, and so my writing was still underdeveloped. I think I was good, but I wasn't a genius by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think that's what you're saying anyway. But
you just gotta have jokes that people talk about.
Yeah,
and you gotta, and it's like you gotta have jokes people talk about.
Yeah.
And you gotta have joke like. Bookers and people in showbiz, where they go, I just saw so and so. The first thing is all new, great.
Yeah,
that's like when you're doing great. That's what they say. Like I don't know how he's writing all this shit.
Yeah,
but those are the people that like are really considered great.
I mean, sometimes nobody says that about Seinfeld.
Right, but nobody in showbiz is talking about Seinfeld.
Who the hell is Seinfeld?
I mean,
Nobody in like showbiz prop. I'm talking about at that level. I'm talking about in a city or in a
in
the trenches. Seinfeld's like done. I'm talking about like people that are going to be in Montreal, like people like like club comics basically.
Yeah, but you want to be generating material regularly, and I got comfortable.
Right.
And I think that was the first thing that set me back. And I remember, Sawyer had to talk with me about that too. Like, this is why you're not moving ahead or whatever, And classically, it was very tactless and brutal, but it was the truth. And I was like, all right, And so I always blamed myself for my own failures, and I was frustrated with that. But then there were times where I was like, why isn't this not happening to me? And yeah, I fucked around. I didn't leave. And
smoke weed?
No, never.
Oh. All right, good.
Because
I find that's the big hindrance a lot of the time.
Oh yeah,
I was always afraid of that. That's why I never did it. Yeah,
guys that I just man, it's not about that for me. It's like okay, well, it's a business and it's about being productive and shit like that, and not just I fucking cleared a ton of boards today on Warcraft or whatever.
Yeah.
And then how have you found? What's your thing with Kamau been like on the show?
I mean, it's great. It's weird because I was writing on the show for 3 months, and then I was a head writer, and I had to learn everything. I'm still learning everything about working on a television show.
Take us through this conversation.
All right.
So Kamau gets a show, and one thing to Kamau's credit. Everything else about him, terrible guy, but Kamau's one of the best. But to his great credit, he put a lot of people on his back. On that show, a lot of dudes that he came up with and that were there for him in the beginning of him doing. The writing staff is a lot of dudes that he's kind of. So I got a lot of respect for that because so many of these writing rooms is all of a sudden nobody you even know.
Yeah,
the network takes over and
never works.
Yeah, right.
It just doesn't work. That's the thing. Is it just doesn't work. It's look at Seinfeld, look at Rock Show, look at Chappelle Show. It's just fucking get funny. Who do you think is funny? Have them come.
And it's not just who do you think is funny. Tell me if you agree with me. It's not just who do you think is funny, although that's definitely it. It's also who do you feel funny with.
Yes.
Who do you when they book these panel shows? It's why I was talking to somebody about it the other day. Why don't they book it with people? Why would they book you with someone you don't know and me with someone I don't know? Then booking us together because we know each other. Right. It's going to be that's easy.
Yeah.
And a writer's
they may not know that you know each other.
I'm saying they should. In their booking practice.
Eventually they go on Facebook and see who's friends with it.
Yeah. I mean,
so the conversation is what?
The head writer. He calls me. It's
What's it? You're a writer, which is just you go every day and you
show up and do the thing. And
what's the thing? Pitch?
Just pitch every day. Try to write pieces and stuff.
But before you even get into that, you're 100% right, Neal. In when Kamau was first arranging the writers' room, he was saying, I was talking to him about it at that Moon Tower Festival, and he was going, okay, yeah, I'm looking at all these submissions. I definitely have Kevin there because that's my guy. I write with him. That's so in that way it becomes a no-brainer. Right, that's the dude you. If that's the dude you feel that way with, why wouldn't you have that person in there?
Fucking Larry David was a weirdo.
Right.
In New York. He was a fucking weirdo, and Jerry was just I want to write with this guy. And they were all right, I was basically a weirdo. You know what I mean? Even Lance and Ali on Chris's show hadn't really done any major shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. This was my first television writing gig. So even to go back to your anger question, I had spent years doing this 9-to-5 office day job at tech companies. I was a technical writer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no idea what I was doing. I was a contractor most of the time, so I had been fired 3 or 4 times, but technically never fired because they're just we can't renew your contract, or we, realize we don't need you. But what they're really saying is, oh my God, you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
Get out of here. And so I'd been doing that for years, and it was just a source of frustration. I just felt like a fraud as a comic, even though we've all had to have day jobs and we've all had to do that shit. But so this literally, I was working at Yahoo.
Wow.
And when I got this job, and so I was just I'm just here to learn. This is going to be great.
Right.
And it was exciting, but it was also tough to kind of jump into this thing, and we're all trying to figure out what this show is, and so it was in November. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and I was out here in L.A., and he called me, and I knew they were trying to shift some things around and do some different stuff, and they had one writer had left and gone to Mar, and the showrunner was the head writer.
Right.
And he decided, all right, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to focus on doing the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they'd been kind of talking about it and trying to figure out, well, who's it going to be, whatever. And I was not anywhere near those conversations. And I get this call from Kamau. We're just shooting the shit. And he's like, yeah, man, so Chuck's not going to be the head writer anymore. It's like, all right, so what are we doing? Who do you got? And he's like, we're gonna give this new young kid a shot, Kevin Avery. And I'm just like, all right, why are you fucking with me? What are you seriously? Who's the guy? And like, yeah, it's you. And I was just like, what?
Yeah. Were you getting a lot of shit on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know necessarily anymore that I wasn't even getting pieces on the show, like my own, I wasn't, people were writing stuff and getting themselves on the show. I wasn't even doing that, but I was taking other responsibilities.
Yeah, it's exactly what you're talking about. Is like, that was what Kamau was saying. You guys wrote together for so long.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah.
I knew his sort of sensibilities and everything, and also when things were, I just sort of inserted myself in a lot of shit. You know, if there seemed to be like, this seems like a rough spot, I would just try to patch it up and try to.
Well, also, I feel like every room is like, the dynamic is the showrunner is there or the head writer is there, and then everybody else is afraid of that person. So if you cannot be afraid of that person, you're at such a crazy advantage over everybody else. If you can be like, dude, I've known you for 15 years.
Well, yeah, there's also, if you're friends with Kamau, you're coming at it from a position of, you're coming at it from a very similar position that he's coming at it from, which is like, I just want this shit to work. Yeah. And I want it to be good. Everybody else is trying to keep their job.
Yeah, right.
So it's just a different mechanism, which is like, I have a TV show. What would I like? What do I want to say?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there were several of us were friends with him, and we all just wanted it to work. But I do think, being as close to him as I was, I could tell when he was just frustrated or straight up disappointed, and it was stressful to me because I was like, oh, what are we doing? Are we failing? Like, it was just a really.
It also means as much to you. It's your shot as well as his.
Yeah.
Instead of just like a guy who's a writer and then he's going to go into Mar or whatever. It's just like, I'm just fucking. You want to say these jokes, guy?
Yeah.
Because if not, I got a guy across town that can say these just. In fact, it's HBO and it's, you know what I mean? Like, it is like your shot as much as his.
Yeah, and we'd been through the ringer together on this. I mean, like, he and I were writing partners, and I remember we were. Chuck, we knew Chuck because he, he'd almost hired us for D.L. Hughley's show on his CNN show. And I remember at that time I had just moved to L.A. and like that year, and I was working in the Amtrak offices at Union Station. I was just like, it's one thing to work at Yahoo or some tech company where what those tech companies were like in the that thing that people on scooters and shit in the there was that, and this was like your dad's company. It was a lot of button up shirts with short sleeves and 60-year-olds running around, and it was just drab. And there I was every day
talking about cargo.
That's exactly what they were. Not
motherfuckers talk about cargo.
Not even bullshitting.
Straight up,
they were into their trains, and it was the worst thing. And I remember, okay, we're finally going to get it put on. This is going to be great. And he and I were just like, yes, we're going to do this. And then it didn't happen. Right. And we were just, so we had been through it together, several times, just trying to make it happen. So I feel like we're both really invested in this show.
Yeah. Do you feel like you know what you're doing? Do you feel like a phony?
I feel like a phony.
You do?
I totally feel like a phony.
Do you feel like a phony?
No, but I'll tell you why I don't feel like a phony. Because I know that the job, I can do the job. Meaning, like, so I don't feel like, It's like, if I'm directing something, I know the shots I have to get. I know. So it's not like, is this a shot list? Right. Like, you just know that you have to come up with fucking 11 good monologue jokes.
But that's time.
Yeah, but it's time, and it's also, I felt like a phony, but I also realized, like, the unconventional shit that you would do, just the shit that you do, like, because you don't know how else to do it, that ends up just being your style.
That's the thing. Yeah, you do realize this is just what it's going to be. And the thing is,
we literally used to call sketches on Chappelle's show longies and shorties. That's how technical. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like, I guess I'm a phony, but I'm not trying to pretend that it's fucking. Like, I would say to the crew, like, oh, I don't know what that means. When you go, like, I'd go, like, just go, like, and then pan up. And they go, it's tilt up. And I'd be like, I don't give a shit. But yeah, so you just, whatever. It's like, go up.
Yeah. You figure it out. And the thing, what I do know is I know what I'm good at, and I know why I'm the head writer. And so if you're, like, we've all been there in stand-up where you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then you just get up there and you're doing it because you know, I can't show fear up here. I can't back down. I just got to handle this shit. And so, I go into work and I just do the thing.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, I know I'm a guy that this is the first gig, everybody, and so, and there are times when I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to make sure nothing is slipping through the cracks. And sometimes something does. And then then it's just my job to figure it out or fix it or do whatever. But, in the quiet of my room, I do feel like
you only have a room.
I have a room.
Oh no!
They only give you a room. You sleep at the show.
They give me a room under the stage.
Right under the desk.
When we finish taping, I climb down the ladder and I just.
You say sorry. To everyone.
You're the Phantom.
Apologies.
You're the Phantom of Totally Biased.
I actually wear the little mask when I go into work every day.
Sing for me.
Do you and what has been the have you fucked up a lot? Have there been moments where you felt like, oh, okay, what's the biggest moment of like, I don't know what I'm doing, and what's the biggest moment of like, you know what, maybe I do know what I'm doing?
Because I have this moment where I love this moment where you realize you earned your paycheck. You do something and you go, okay, cool, I deserve to be here,
Yeah, I feel like it's little things always feel like the biggest fucking thing in the world. There are two moments I remember feeling like I really dropped the ball on this, and it was the tiniest thing. Oh, one was we were sitting around and we were going to do a read through of the pieces, and he was like, "Do we have the whatever it is piece?" And I was like, "Oh, we're doing." Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. And it was the easiest thing in the world to go, hey, tell the writer's assistant to go run the thing. But in my head, I'm sitting at the head of the table like,
everyone's
how could I fuck this up? Yeah, exactly.
This kid doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly. He didn't have how could he not have that piece? And then once we were talking about having you on the show, and
Moshe.
He came into my office. Yeah, sorry, Moshe. And he walked. I see. I fucked up again.
Yeah,
God
you
damn
did.
it.
No, I fucked up. But
Kamau walks into my office and is like, we were talking about having Moshe on the show. Louis just told me he left. Louis Katz was writing with us that week. He's like, Louis told me he's already headed home. We missed an opportunity to, and I was just like, there are a mountain of other things I'm
but that's
worried
the
about.
Fucking booking department.
It's
right, but I think that the show is a little more grassroots in that
it's a
way,
little
right?
bit, yeah. So it probably is.
Yeah, I guess because when I was going to do it, and who emailed me? Kamau,
right?
Who usually isn't like I don't think Jay Leno's in charge of booking the Tonight Show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean,
which is probably to a detriment when someone leaves town, and probably to a positive when it's like it can be your beast. You know, like when do you think the last time Jay Leno was like? Had any, you know what I mean? He doesn't know anything.
The only thing Jay cares about is the monologue.
Right.
Everything else, he just goes like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Monologue's my thing, though. Like that's his whole thing. He'll do any fucking desk piece. He doesn't give a fuck. He just is like, I do the monologue. Doesn't care about guests. Doesn't care about pre-interviews. Literally just like the monologue. That's all he cares about.
Right.
Wow, that's fascinating.
What's the best monologue in showbiz?
Folks. Say.
Pause.
Pause. That's a new thing. It's not when you say something gay. It's when you say something
it's when you say something that no one can say anything. And your biggest victory for yourself, your biggest self-esteem boost.
Maybe the first week that I was the head writer, there was this weird moment where the show,
where all the scripts burnt up, correct? There was an IT accident, and only you could get.
He called a guy at Yahoo.
I fixed the copy machine, and I was pretty proud of that. We were starting the show. Kamau standing on his mark. The guy 3, 2, and I'm like, I did it. All right, let's see if this thing works. And then it simultaneously became the biggest failure because I looked. I always crouch down on the floor and I'm watching, and I'm watching him from just off to the side, and so I look to my left and there are a pair of feet standing next to me, and I look up and it's Chris Rock, and he's going, so I hear we don't have a Halle Berry joke about her ex-husband and boyfriend getting in a fight. Why don't we have that? Oh,
Chris Rock, who is a producer.
He's the executive producer.
Paid for the pilot himself.
Yeah. So I was kind of like,
all $35,000.
Sure, all his dollars.
Yep.
So
and there's nothing I could do but and this was the first show I hadn't watched. It was my first show as head writer. It's the first time I didn't watch the show happen, and I was okay, all right, and I just walked away. And we need a Halle Berry joke, everybody, and that and we figured it out, whatever, But
have you dealt with Chris at all other than that?
Yeah, and that was his thing. He would come in and wait, why do we have a joke about?
That's his job, is just to be like a pain in the ass. And just like, wait, I'm in charge and I'm famous. And why don't we have a thing about this? And he's just like, why are there no bagels on here? And they just go like, sorry, Ms. Rock.
Yeah, and sometimes he asks, why is this missing? And sometimes he just pitches a joke like, thanks, will you?
Yeah.
So, and it was no big deal, and it worked out.
Would you, knowing Chris, you could very well say, if he was like, why don't you have him just be like, I don't think it's a non-story.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that took a while. When I first met Chris, he completely kicked me in the nuts. And, I or not when I first met him.
Like the Chris I know.
When the second time I met him, we worked together on the pilot, and then when the show started and he shows up, it's the first week, and I reintroduced myself to him, and it's like, actually we met before, we worked on the pilot, and he's like, oh yeah, right, I don't know, you didn't give me anything to make me think I'd ever see you again. Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Comedy Idol. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
So we all go out to lunch.
Now, if it makes you feel any better, it took him 15, 16 years to even acknowledge me. So,
yeah.
Acknowledge like a little bit, but not much.
I don't know. I feel like he likes being Chris. He enjoys it, and he'll fuck with you, and it's your job to sort of move past it.
He's like a big brother. He's like a jerky big brother.
Yeah, and he'll still give me shit, but I think now he has a level of respect for me. He, Kamau told me he's also someone who recommended, who was, when they were talking about who was going to be, he was, said, well, what about Avery?
Yeah.
And so I didn't know I was even on that guy's radar, that he even knew my name. So, but he gave me a lot of shit, and it bothered me for like a good solid week, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm here to just write. So why don't I just worry about that?
So now you feel.
And you guys are going every night, right?
Yeah, we're going nightly.
Is that official?
Yeah, Monday through Thursday, and then like a Sunday night best of the previous week or something like that.
Great.
And how are you feeling now?
About the job, or about
about your life? About being black, about being Catholic.
I feel good about being black.
About your job, about head writing.
I feel good about the syphilis. That's still
very cool.
Positive thing.
We all feel good about that.
No, I feel I don't feel like I'm on top of I don't have this euphoric feeling of whatever, but I do have this sort of presence of mind, like things are all right. I just spent so long hoping that they were going to be all right, or wondering if they were going to be all right, and just when you're on that road to try to be successful, it's just a fucking endless. It's miles and miles of what the fuck is going to be? Yeah, of the worst, and so I feel, and the rug could come right out from all of this at any second. But I feel like, all right, I'm going to be all right.
Look, man, the daily's going to be way fucking harder, just so you know.
Yeah,
it's going to be fucking horrible.
Thanks for bringing me down, man. Thanks.
Hey, look, man,
I was doing all right.
When does that start?
That starts September.
Got it.
September 2nd, we go back.
If it doesn't work out, you always got R&B, man.
That's true.
Yeah.
Go back to my
New Jack
I got a demo.
Folks, that's been the champs. Avery, thank you for coming on.
Thank
the
you
show.
for having me.
Appreciate you,
Good man.
fun.
Kevin Avery,
Yeah.
everybody.
Kevin Avery.
Watch
go to
Totally Biased. With
Totally
Kamau Bell.
biased.
Totally Biased on FX with Kamau Bell. Kevin Avery, head writer. Go to KevinAvery.com.
I think for the uninitiated, what are the best bits that they should watch? I think if you know nothing about the show, maybe watch
We'll put a clip
Norton and Lindy West.
Oh, yeah,
that's
a
an
good bit.
interesting.
Maybe if you know nothing about it.
Or Sikhs versus Sheiks. Look that
Yeah,
up.
that's funny.
That's a fun bit.
And maybe roll a clip of Kevin stand up. Maybe roll a clip.
Yeah,
Hey, roll
there
it.
you go.
If you're in there,
Or the trailer for Thugs the Musical, which is
a lot
going to be
about-
released there.
Guys,
All right.
thank you very much. We love y'all.
Thank you.
Now you're fucking with the champs.